there's a lot of hidden secrets that people don't realize. It is a vehicle that you can use to save money, and not only save money, you can save it tax free. So it's something that people have been doing for hundreds of years. It's not brand new. Rockefeller, if you're very familiar with them, that's one of the things they've done. They created their own family bank. For everybody who's watching this, understand that credit is the foundation of almost every financial instrument, because basically what credit is your trustworthiness. It's your trustworthy score.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Calvin Russell here, credit specialist for 850 Club Credit. I'm super excited to bring you guys our special guest for today. Listen, I've been watching all of his content, and not only has he been just dropping gems, but it's so many different things that he talks about that a lot of people just don't know about, especially in his industry. And I couldn't think of any other person, especially not only to represent the insurance industry, but to show you guys how credit it plays a huge role in a lot of the things that you guys do and a lot of the decisions that you guys make. But again, I won't take anything else away from him. I want to introduce you guys to none other than Mr. Christopher Cobb. Chris, are you with us today?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me, Calvin?
I sure can, man. I sure can. All right. How's your day going so far, man?
Man, so far so good. It's Friday, TGIF. I'm looking forward to the weekend, and man, I'm just excited about this call, man. I'm looking forward to jumping right in.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Awesome. Well, first off, of course, thank you for taking out your time throughout the day away from your family, away from your business to actually, just give some of the tips that you've been dropping on your social media platforms and things of that sort. And man, I want to go straight into it. But, of course, before we go too deep into detail, I want people to know who you are and who is Chris Cobb and how did you get into the industry that you're in?
Gotcha. So, interesting story, guys. Like I said, my name is Chris Cobb. I am from a small town called Hartwell, Georgia. I'm sure none of you have ever heard of it. So if you think you got to be from a big city, you do not. I'm from a town where I think the 2020 census, I think we had 4,000 people still. So it's that tiny. And I'm here in Houston now, and our high schools are literally bigger than the city I come from. So guy from humble beginnings. But one thing about it is my whole family has been in education. So my mom has been a principal. My dad taught for a couple of years. Grandparents were professors at HBCUs and teachers and all that type of stuff. So for me, it's always been education first. Just love learning, and I like teaching. Like that's what I've always saw. And but I was always the kid who was selling candy, selling jawbreakers in middle school, whatever it was. I always had this entrepreneur spirit. And my mom used to ask me, like, Chris, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I would tell her I want to be rich. So she was like, don't get an education, don't teach. And so that kind of birthed the entrepreneur spirit. That's really where the finance comes from, because it's like, hey, if I want to be rich, I should study what rich people do. And I went to school, got a business degree. Still didn't learn a lot about money in college, just use some concepts, some ideas. But it's like everything else. If you really want to learn something, you have to self-educate. So upon college, I started. I got into insurance somehow. Just met some cool people. Got a corporate job, making decent money. But I was working more on the corporate side of things. So I was doing banks and credit unions, and it was cool. I like it. I was an underwriter. But for me, I've always liked the teaching. I've always liked the people. I like interacting. I like making a difference. And I messed around and got my life insurance and annuity license just as a part-time thing, just something to do for fun, just because I was already in insurance. And it took off from there. And one of the things that inspired me to get in that field specifically, though, is that I had a grandmother who passed away about 10, 11 years ago. And she left over six figures to my parents. So for us, coming from a small town, that was a huge deal, because my parents would tell you they were always pretty much like check to check. I'm not saying we struggled. It wasn't bad, but check to check, always in debt, always a little bit behind as opposed to being in front of things. And so to inherit six figures in one sitting, it changed everything for us, because they went from being debt to debt to being debt free. They had always rented houses. I've never lived in a house that my parents owned, but in that year they bought 2 or 3 houses, rental properties, that type of stuff. And I always joke with people, that's the year I got braces. So the smile, everything, it was life insurance. And as I got older, I was like, man, this is a beautiful industry. It really does pour wealth back into different families and different communities. And it takes average Joes like myself, helps put us through college, help us, see a little bit bigger than we ever seen before, think a little bit brighter. And I just thought it was something that was only for wealthy people. But seeing my grandmother actually having the foresight making that happen. It's like there's a lot of people who want to know this information. It's just nobody teaching it. So that's kind of the whole inspiration behind it all. There's a lot of motives, but that's the main reason that got me into the life insurance industry.
Wow. That's what's up, man. That's what's up. And,
Yeah,
and that's the thing because you see it from a different perspective, you know? So,
absolutely.
and it's amazing. Yeah, man, it's amazing. And I can only imagine the type of things that you've seen. And I'm sure, especially in our communities, how people don't do certain things in advance. Like you said, being
Absolutely.
behind versus getting ahead. You know, that's huge,
Hmm.
man. That's most definitely huge. So now, one of the things that you talked about that man, that went, kind of viral, and it just
Hmm.
talked about, how to make yourself your own bank, right? Or how to essentially, become the bank yourself. I thought that was such a great topic. And man, let's go straight into that. So now how can a person become their own bank?
Okay, there's a couple ways that you can do it, and the way that we specialize in helping families it is through permanent life insurance. And so there's different types of life insurance. I don't think we'll cover all of them today, but permanent life insurance is typically going to be something called like a whole life or universal life. And obviously, the purpose of life insurance is to get a death benefit where you pass away, your family gets the money. That's the origin of it all. That's what it's made for. But there's a lot of hidden secrets that people don't realize. Because with permanent life insurance, it is a vehicle that you can use to save money. And not only save money, you can save it tax free. So it's something that people have been doing for hundreds of years. It's not brand new.
Mm,
Rockefeller, if you're very familiar with them, that's one of the things they've done. They created their own family bank. You heard of Walt Disney. He borrowed from his own life insurance policy to actually start Walt Disney. So did Ray Kroc
yeah.
with McDonald's. Not Mary Kay. I think it's I can't think of it. The Tupperware company, but they
Yeah.
got started with life insurance.
Mm,
It's an avenue where people have been saving money for years, and the advantage of it is one, it's tax free. So
mm.
a lot of these companies that can give you guaranteed interest, or you can grow at the rate of the stock market. But as it grows, you can borrow from it tax free. So that's one thing
Wow.
about it. Two, you still have life insurance. So
Right.
God forbid something happens to you, your family can obviously benefit financially from that. And not only that, the life insurance has something called living benefits with it. So living benefits, because most people think about life insurance, they think, oh, I passed away, my family gets it. That's the main benefit, but living benefits, if someone became critical, chronic, or terminally ill. So let's say, Calvin, they had a heart attack, they had a stroke, and
Right.
business shut down for 6 months because you got to do recovery. Well, a lot of people don't know this is you can use your life insurance while you're still living for that type of stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, a lot of people don't know that. And what's crazy is this: the number one cause for bankruptcy, more than anything else, is actually healthcare. And you being in
Hmm.
credit, I'm sure you probably see a lot of credit stuff with its healthcare bills and that related. And this is
Yeah.
just another cushion that I'm not saying it's making you rich, but it's
Yeah.
insurance is to protect you from loss. And so it's things that you can put in place to help you out in case those things happen. But on the basic front, you can use your life insurance as a savings. Most banks, if you, I don't know about you guys, I bank with Chase. They're giving us 0.01% right now. So every
Right.
year we literally make a couple pennies, like maybe a dollar. And but a lot of these insurance companies, if you get with the right ones, they'll guarantee you 4, 5, 6%. So I always tell people it's not a get rich quick. It's not like something that you put money in and you become a millionaire overnight. It's just a better way to save money because you're getting guaranteed interest. You have all those benefits. And when you
Right.
do this over 10, 20, 30 years, because you're going to pay your bills the next 10, 20, 30 years, you're going to put money somewhere the next 10, 20, 30 years. Might as well be putting it somewhere where you can get interest and you still have access to it. So that's what we teach people how to do.
Wow. Man, that's huge because I think
Yeah.
that that's a different way of looking at life insurance because or just insurance in general because a lot of times we only look at like the benefit of, what's going to be like afterwards, right? And
Correct.
then we look at obviously cost. But there's so many other benefits where you say like, "Hey, if you want to, you can actually, take advantage of this tax free." That's huge.
Huh?
That's most definitely huge, man. Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have that piece of it. But then let's go into because I know that there are some people who obviously think that, hey, I know I gotta have insurance, but they have no idea the importance that or the important role, I should say, that credit plays, within insurance. Let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So For everybody who's watching this, understand that credit is the foundation of almost every financial instrument, because basically what credit is your trustworthiness. It's your trustworthy score. That's what we say in insurance. Even with us guys, I'm not a credit expert. I don't proclaim to be, but I tell people that if you want these companies who've been around for 100 to 200 years to guarantee you something, they want to make sure that you can guarantee them something as well. And so to get life insurance by itself, there's ways and there's avenues that we can help you get life insurance without having to get a credit check. But the best companies that are offering the best interest and the most benefits, they want to run your credit because they want to see who you are as a person. Because for all these companies, it doesn't help them for you to get a policy and then 6 months down the road, a year down the road, you cancel it because they've done all this administrative work. There's a lot of expenses, a lot of fees that goes into just making sure that you're the right person and all this stuff. So the first year, 2 years, 5 years into it, they're taking a loss just by giving you the policy. And for someone who, has a bad credit history, they're thinking, why would I offer them 5-6% interest guaranteed if there's a good chance that they're looking like they're going to default on this in the next year, next 6 months? Why would I be giving this to them? Or what's the likelihood of them paying a premium? What's the likelihood of them taking care of themselves and making sure that from a health perspective, they're not doing something crazy? And so I know credit, you may be saying, man, I made one bad decision and that doesn't determine who I am as a person, which I agree with that. But a lot of times with these financial institutions, if you don't know anything about insurance companies, they do not like losing money. So when there's a recession, when there's a depression, when things are going down, these companies do not go out of business because they hate losing. And so if you have adverse credit, unfortunately, that looks like it may be a loss for them. And if it's a loss, they're going to not take the risk because insurance is all about risk. They're just trying to figure out how probable is this person to stay alive, healthy, and do what they're supposed to do, pay the bills. And if right now your credit score is said otherwise, as weird as it sounds, because people think life insurance is like a charity, like everybody should get it. And that would be nice. You would think it's so. That would be nice in a perfect world, but these companies have to make money. Because if they're going to guarantee you $100,000 death benefit or $1 million death benefit, you want to make sure that they got the money to pay it. And the only way that they can guarantee that they are going to have the money to pay it is if they take good risk and don't take losses. It's going to happen at some point, but they're in the business of not taking losses. And your credit score is basically going to give them a rating. It's going to give them an idea of whether it'll be a win or a loss for them, or a winning relationship or losing relationship for both of us. Because if you don't win in it, they don't win. If you lose, we lose. So that's how your credit can affect whether you can get approved, and if you get approved at the rating, because it could be taxed, it could be more, just like auto insurance or something like that.
Wow. And see, guys, I hope you guys are taking notes on this because Chris is telling you stuff that this is the type of stuff that's not in the commercial, right? When you're watching, you're looking for insurance and things of that sort. And people, I think they don't understand not only the importance that credit plays into this, but they say, you know what? Well, I need insurance, so whatever my score is whatever my score is. But they don't treat it like when they're about to buy a house. They say, okay, let me get my credit in order. When they're about to get a car, let me get my credit in order. No one says, hey, I'm about to get insurance, let me get my credit in order, because now you're paying these higher rates, or you may not get approved at all because you're too high of a risk. So that most definitely helps as well too. Now, if you don't mind us asking, now what insurance company are you with if someone was looking to because I'm assuming, are you only able to insure people where you are in Texas?
So I'm actually a broker. So I work with multiple companies, and our company is called Chosen Agency. And so if you're licensed and you're looking at this and you want more information, we're definitely hiring, looking to expand. But we are a broker, so we work with 15 to 20 different companies. And the reason why is I always tell people, look at us like Foot Locker. So Foot Locker doesn't necessarily have a branded shoe, do they? It's not like a Foot Locker kick, right? They sell Nike, Reebok, Under Armour. They basically market other brands, and they get people connected with what makes sense for them. So I always tell people back in the day, me and my dad would go to the shoe store. He might be looking at some New Balance. I'm in my 30s, early 30s. I might be looking at Jordans. My man is in his 50s. He's looking for comfort. Me, I'm looking for style. And so that's why it's important to work with a broker, because everybody are in different situations. So what somebody else may need or be looking for, somebody else may not. So we like working with multiple different companies because it puts us in a better position to help multiple people. And for us, we are licensed in Texas because we live here. But the beautiful thing about our industry, you can get licensed to do business virtually. And obviously, since the pandemic, COVID-19, we've pretty much been running our business, I would say 99% virtually. So we're licensed in like 40 states, almost every single state in the United States. So if you like technology and Zoom, we got you. We can touch you. We can talk to you and see if we can help you out.
Wow, that's what's up, man. That's what's up.
Yeah.
And if people want to work with you or at least get a quote from you, I know that you said you're licensed in 48 states or so. Are they able to still get a quote from you no matter what state they live in, or only if they're in Texas?
Okay. Absolutely. Whatever state you can get a quote, and I can get licensed in the state if I need to. And I may already have a colleague or somebody who is licensed in the state. So don't worry. If it's not me, we got people that can definitely work with you and get you taken care of. For sure.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. All right, awesome. And then also too, now what types of insurance do you guys work with, or what do you guys offer?
So right now we're just doing life insurance and annuities. And life insurance, we do all the types. So there's term, ROP, permanent. We have all those with different companies. And annuities are basically they're insurance for retirement. It's a way to make sure that you're not losing money when the market goes down. So the closer you get to retirement, the more conservative you might want to be. It's a way to protect your retirement and also guarantee an income stream whenever you decide to retire. So those are the two financial chassis that we use the most with our brokerage. There's some other things that we do, but that's my wheelhouse. That's my specialty, I would say.
Got you. Now, I've heard of annuities, but I'm gonna be honest, it's something that I've never Googled, because like I'm in my 30s. So I'm in my 30s, man. So, we have conversations, my wife and I, about retirement and things of that sort, and investments. But I think that people really need to start, looking deeper into this type of information, because the earlier that you are able to research it, the earlier the earlier that you learn this information, the easier it's going to be when you don't feel like working at that age, or you are trying to have things lined up. So if you don't mind me asking, so what are annuities and how does that benefit us?
Absolutely. And just to piggyback off what you said, you're right. So for everybody who's watching, I know the feeling when you're trying to understand something new and it's just like overwhelming. And I promise you, it's not as hard as you think. It is going to take some discomfort. Of course, you gotta know what you don't know, but it's not that hard. Because like right now, I'm trying to learn cryptocurrency. And for me, I get frustrated trying to learn it. But it's like I need to pay attention to this because this is going to change the world, or it's very important, at least for right now.
Yeah.
But it's the same way with annuities. And the way I would explain it, this is the easiest way to understand it. Very easy. You'll get it. It's essentially you creating a pension for yourself, a personal pension. So you remember how back in the day, our parents and grandparents would work for a job, and 20, 30 years down the road, they say, hey, we'll guarantee you $2,000 or $3,000 a month if you give us 30 years of your life. So what people use annuities for is either they can start one on their own where they funded it, or maybe you're getting closer to retirement, you got old 401ks and you want to roll it into annuity. What the insurance company, they'll do is they'll take the funds, and usually they'll calculate a percentage of it, let's say 5-6%, and they say, we'll pay you this every single month until the day you die. So you can use an annuity as a form of retirement where you are getting a pension, so you get guaranteed income. But also there's something called index annuities where it's tied to the index of the market, but it's insured. So when the market goes down, you don't lose anything. Years like 2008, and I'm not knocking the market either, guys. Years like 2008, though, the market went down almost 40%. So somebody who was looking to retire in 2009, 2010, they had to work another 5 years just to recover from one loss. So people are doing annuities as they're getting close to retirement because they want to be a little bit more conservative. You roll the money into it, and they're going to pay you a percentage of it every single month till the day you die. And the beautiful thing about it is whenever you pass away, if there's a balance, the family still gets it as a death benefit as a beneficiary. So with some retirement accounts, bank accounts, that type of stuff, it goes to probate. Someone could claim this, claim that. With an annuity, it's a way that you protect retirement, but also you make sure it ends up in the right hands when you pass on as well. So that's why people do it. And it's been around for, believe it or not, it's been around for like 2,000 years, since like the Roman Empire. That's where it came from.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So they're soldiers after they would deploy, do their part. They come back, they would annuitize their income and say, hey, we got you for the rest of your life. You don't have to work again. So, yeah.
That's huge.
It's one of those things that's not new. It's just that we don't talk about it. And it's a simple way to make sure that you got money coming in 20, 30 years down the road.
Man, that's huge. You know what? I want to talk about, are there some other, I want to talk about some other items as well too, as it pertains to that, because again, I think that retirement credit, things of that. So we see a lot of times we're so focused on living in the now, and there's nothing wrong with that. However, we don't take time. We spend more time planning a trip or vacation than we do actually saying, okay, this is the retirement plan, or this is how we're going to have income coming in, whether it's passively, whether it's saved, whether it's an investment, things of that sort. And man, I had no idea about. Now, granted, you can stop what you're doing and you can Google it and all that, but then you got questions about certain things. And let's be honest,
Absolutely.
you gotta. It's like, hey, do I look up, the Miami Heat game, or do I look up annuities?
Yeah. It's just
So,
true. And
man, so it gets at the bottom of the list, man.
Gotcha. Let me piggyback off that. You're right. So sometimes people see people like Calvin, and they see us talking, and they're like, "Oh, they got it together, and they know everything." Trust me, we are far from it. Like I've been studying cryptocurrency and Bitcoin for like 6 months, and the reason why is just like I've been supposed to study it for 6 years, and I'm like everybody else. I love football. I love sports. I keep up with what's going on in the world. But yeah, you have to take one day a week or a couple days a month to like really start thinking about your future, because now is the time. Not tomorrow. Today's the time. And me and my wife, once a week, usually on Friday or Sunday, we kind of sit down and do our budget, look at stuff for the week. And to this point, guys, I still hate it. It's still uncomfortable. We spent money and you didn't have to, or you got debts where you shouldn't have debts, and it's just like so bad because you feel undressed, you feel naked. But I promise you, those are the conversations, those are the times that transform your life now. And what's crazy about it, it's still a seed too. So it's not only does it transform you now, it's a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road. That's when you start to see the difference. So if you're in that place where you're just uncomfortable and you don't know where to start somewhere. Start with a budget. Fix your credit. I think credit is a perfect place to start because, like I said, people will judge you by that one thing. So if they're going to judge you by it, make sure that it looks good.
Right. Man, that's huge, man. It really is, because, like you mentioned, it's taking that time to at least have that conversation, to, at least create that dialogue. And like you said, and it puts everything on the table, and it's like, hey, you know what? This is where we are. And again, people have different, perceptions about budgets. They feel like if they have one, it feels like, oh, I'm not, I'm not like affluent, or I'm not attracting, a certain lifestyle, or whatever the case is. And it's really just making sure you're not overspending whatever you got, so, and just making sure that you have a designation for everything that comes in. So now, man, that most definitely makes sense. And then let me ask you this. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's just a plan. Like it's like, for me, I maintain my weight. Not saying I'm in shape, but I maintain it because I know what to eat Monday through Thursday, and on the weekends, I get to blow it. It's the same thing with the money, guys. We get to go out to eat. We travel is because there's certain times we say we're not spending or we're not doing much, and then we say we're gonna save that so we can blow it and have fun later. So I know it requires discipline, which isn't fun, but it really opens the door for the things that you really want to do.
Yeah. Wow. Man, that's huge. Now another thing as well too. Are there any other ways that we can create any other type of passive incomes or anything like that as it pertains to insurance or anything?
Absolutely. So, the beautiful thing about the insurance is it's an asset. So one is something that you're creating for yourself. Obviously, it's something that you're creating for somebody else that you can pass on. And as if you're in the industry, this is for the agents. There's a way that you can make it more passive is by teaching other agents on what you're doing. That's what we do as well, because we're building a brokerage and we're building an agency where it's, you teach one, like you reach one, you teach one, and by doing that, we're reaching more people, and by reaching more people, we get something called like a broker fee. It's an override, just like you would as an agent, a real estate agent. You have a brokerage, you have a Keller Williams that's helping train the
Yeah.
agents, and the agents go help more families, but they get a piece of it. May not be a huge piece, but it's a way that you can help grow with other people, and it becomes more passive. And not only that, we're always looking to connect with good people. We do referrals, we do seminars, we do partnerships. There's just so many ways from the business side that you can make this passive. And it's not that you're actively working, but you're doing things. You're connecting people, connecting this, and you're getting compensated for doing that. So that's one way. But also the businesses. I mean, the insurance itself. Like I said, it's not a short term play a lot of times, but
Yeah.
over 7 to 10 years, you can put enough money into it where you don't have to pay for it anymore. Just like you buy a house or buy a car, and you can pull equity out of it every single month, every single year, how much you want to do it. So yeah, it's a savings account with higher interest.
Wow. Man. See, and again, this is the type of stuff that's not in the commercials, man.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
it's deeper than that. It's deeper than just life insurance. It's deeper than just looking out or just essentially saying, "Hey, this is what something that my family can benefit from after I'm gone." No one really talks about the benefits of how it is right now, right? And so, that's huge, man. That's huge. That's huge.
Yeah,
So now,
that's
okay,
that's that's the biggest thing I have to tell people, especially our age, because we're in our 30s. So
yeah,
they're thinking, oh, I'm not gonna pass away anytime soon, which is
right,
true. Hopefully, hopefully
right.
it doesn't happen. But for me, my dad had kidney failure, and he was an engineer. So I've seen him go from working 50, 60 hours a week, bringing the
Mm,
bread home, to on disability and doing dialysis
mm,
3 or 4 times a week,
wow.
and that happens all the time. We all know somebody
Yeah.
who had kidney failure, cancer, stroke, something like that affected their life, and they still lived another 20, 30, 40 years, but it affected their ability to make money. That's what the insurance does.
Right.
That cushion, if something like that was to happen. Again, we hope it doesn't, but they do on a regular basis, and you got to prepare for it. That's our job,
Wow.
for sure.
Man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well,
Yeah.
you know what? That's the thing. And there is a plan. And guys, that's what this is all about. So I hope you guys been taking notes on all of this stuff because it's all about having a plan. It's all about asking questions, finding out what's best for you. We talk about credit all the time. And as you can see, credit plays a major role in your insurance plans, whether you can get approved, what the rates and terms are going to be. So man, that's huge, man. That's for
Yeah,
sure. So now
absolutely.
so now, Chris, how can someone reach out to you? Of course, we know you're on Instagram. I'll most definitely throw the Instagram back up there as well too.
Please.
But outside of Instagram, how else can someone reach you, or is that the best way?
So, yeah. So right now, Instagram. If you go there, please follow me. You'll see my links. I have links for webinars because we're hiring. If you're looking to become an agent, you can check it out. If you're looking to get more information about policies, we got information there, so you can check that out. That's my Instagram as well as my TikTok. Both of those. On Facebook, on YouTube, and I'll actually give you guys my number. My number is 706-436-6354. My wife is gonna be pissed because we do have a business number. I just can never remember it. So she has all the text words and all the stuff, and I can't remember it. But that's my personal cell. So if you see this and you say, I want more information, 706-436-6354. But I'm like every other millennial. I'm on TikTok, IG pretty regularly. So follow me there. I engage. You'll see the content. And I'm also taking a lot of requests for new videos. So if you haven't seen it, we do financial concepts in 60 to 90 seconds. And most of the concepts I come up with is because somebody requested it. So if you like it, go share it, but also let me know what you want to see next. And that would do me an enormous amount of good if you could do that for me.
Absolutely, man. And guys, listen, make sure you guys go ahead and check out his content on Instagram. You can learn so much from it and follow him so you can keep getting that same information. I learned a lot just by watching it. And what's so great is that he gives you the meat and potatoes within a 60-second time frame. And he breaks it down using random stuff. So and I've never seen this type of but it's education that you can remember because our attention spans are so short. And what I'm learning is it's not so much the information itself, it's the delivery, right? And so, Chris does an amazing job of delivering the content the way that he does. And I think it most definitely deserves your attention. It deserves a follow. So most definitely go ahead and check that out. So, Chris, is there anything that you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
Man, I'm just excited that we're having this conversation and seeing people wake up when it comes to finance and taking advantage of the information age and the opportunity that we have, guys. There's a lot that's wrong in the world, but there's a lot that's right. And we are in a position where we can do things that our forefathers, our parents, they wish they could have done. So I just pray that everybody takes the onus and the responsibility to learn this stuff for themselves day by day and just get a little bit better, because that's the thing that we've been lacking in. We have the talent, we have the
Yeah.
wits, we just haven't had the organization as a
Yeah.
group of people to make this work for us. And right now, I see a lot of people pulling together to make it happen. And this is just one of those steps in the right direction. And so, if I could help in any way, from insurance to finance, or just connect you with somebody, please let me know. Reach out, Calvin. I appreciate you just sharing the platform, let me get a chance to speak. And it's really just let us know what it is that you guys want to see, because we're here for the people. We want to work, we want to help, and we just want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to live financially free. They start walking in that direction. We want to be the ones that help give you the information. So that's pretty much it.
There you go, man. There you go. Well, listen, you guys heard it from the man himself, Mr. Christopher Cobb. Thanks again, man. We appreciate you taking away time from your day, your family, to pour into the audience and give everyone the gems and everything that they need to not only understand how credit affects their insurance, but listen, you guys got way more than that, okay? So he went well over the time that I expected him to, just to give you guys so much information. And again, make sure you guys reach out to him, take advantage of it. But also, too, guys, make sure you guys like this video if you like it, share it if you want to share it. Be sure to subscribe, as we got nothing but great content well on the way. If you guys are seeing this on any other platforms, be sure to follow us as well, too. And we'll catch you guys on the next video. Have a good one.